Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, here with a little story and testimonial to my DMOS Stealth Shovel. Not very long ago, I did a review on this shovel, not necessarily on purpose. I'd got it, was like, all right, cool. Threw the box in the back of my vehicle and went out to actually go film some other stuff. Happened to be on a snowy backwoods trail and ended up getting stuck. So I was like, well, perfect opportunity to give this guy a go. And in fairness, it did a great job, was really pleased with it. But what you didn't see is about 5 minutes later, I got stuck in a really bad way. Really, really bad. Ultimately what happened was I did not want to back out in those tracks that I'd followed down. I don't know, a good half mile, 3/4 of a mile. Didn't really want to back up that far. So I was like, I'll just drive this out. Eventually, I'll get back down to some pavement. It'll be a nice drive. Drove along, got to a spot where I wouldn't call it a creek. Basically, like this little rivulet of water was coming down off the side of the mountain, but it ended up cutting into the snow. There's probably a good 3 to 4 feet of snow over the top of this. Consequently, pretty steep cut on the angle. Well, saw other tracks there. I was like, I could probably make that. Interestingly enough, I did not make it. What did happen is I promptly got stuck in a bad way. Came down really steep, started going up the other side, didn't have enough to get up. Boom, back down. And again, because of how steep it wasn't just like, oh, roll up the other side. Pretty much slammed into the other bank that I just came down. Tried getting out a couple times, continually kind of slamming in there, and then eventually this happened. So there's that. At this point, probably should have broke the shovel out and gone after it and cleaned it up some. But I just finished filming and consequently digging a lot with that shovel. Didn't really want to do any more digging right then. And I was still able to get the vehicle moving, almost up and over, but not quite. So of course the next thing to happen is with that movement kind of slamming back down because I was getting impatient and then trying to take off again, battery ended up sliding. All of a sudden, vehicle cuts out, a little bit of smoke comes up from under the hood. Damn it. Pop the hood, get out, immediately recognize the problem. The battery had broken loose, slid back, and grounded itself on the little piece of all thread that basically is supposed to keep the battery in place. Burned through that, and I immediately pulled it back, stopped it from grounding out even more. And at this point, started calling some people, trying to get someone to come help me. After getting a hold of 3 of my friends, all who had vehicles who could potentially rescue me, all of them were busy. One of them was like, I can be there, I have about 2 hours of work left, and then ultimately it'd probably be about another hour before they got there. So I was like, you know what, it's a beautiful day, I'm gonna hang out. Drinking some water. I was looking at it and I'm like, I have a shovel. I've already proven this thing works. Does a good job moving whatever, in this case snow. I was like, if nothing else, I should at least start clearing it out so that when someone comes to rescue my vehicle, at least at that point, it'll be easier for them. So took this thing, went after it. This thing did an amazing job. Ended up probably moving about 2 yards of snow. If you're not familiar with yards, cubic yards, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. A big volume, probably about 2 of those. Once I got that all cleared out behind my vehicle, I was like, you know what? I can get myself out of this. I probably have enough room to back up and get one more shot going up and over this. So next step was, is this gonna work? i.e., when I try and turn my car back on, will it start? Gotta find that out. As I mentioned, when the battery slid back, burned through that thing. So I wasn't sure if this was gonna start, but I also couldn't move my vehicle with the battery sliding around. So handy little trick I learned back when I was racing Baja 1000 and stuff, kind of same issue happened, is running a ratchet strap through the engine compartment around the battery through the wheel well, and then clamping this thing down so that the battery won't move, won't go anywhere. With that taken care of, I then hopped in, tried turning it. Fortunately, it started up. Backed it up into all that space I created, removing all that snow, set the parking brake, turned it off. At that point, grabbed that shovel, trusty Stealth Shovel, and cleaned out whatever I could, again, smoothing that little takeoff ramp for myself. And then, since where that was washed through, there was a bunch of kind of gravel and rocks, took a bunch of scoops with that shovel, got everything in front of myself peppered with all these rocks and gravel, giving myself some traction. At which point was the moment of truth. Hop backed in, started it up, dropped the e-brake, went up, got myself out of it. Ultimately, given enough time and some sort of digging utensil, like this guy right here, you can pretty much get yourself out of anything. And that's what it came down to. I was sitting there, I was looking at the situation, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna probably be here for a couple hours. What if no one was coming? And went ahead, got after it, and got myself out of it. This thing did a great job. My other tool I had previously had in my vehicle was an e-tool. That would have sucked with that. This does a great job not only not only collapsing down and being really small, easy to store, easy to carry, but being about 56 inches long, it's a lot of leverage there. So if you need a full-size shovel, you pretty much have a full-size shovel right there. And that made the task so much easier. And on top of that, with how big this is dimensionally, able to actually move a lot with each shovelful. And again, utility, able to also use this over in that little, I won't call it a stream, but basically where the water's running through, to be able to scoop up all of that gravel, rock, sand, and get it peppered so that I could get myself out. But really pleased with this shovel, done an awesome job for me. Having said that, I don't want to use it again for probably a very long time. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.